group either just made, well, they made the 22, but the majority of them were way, way, way higher than the 22. Almost 28, 30 hours, some of them. One young man could not be here tonight, David Sinnell. He put almost 40 hours in. I mean, this is through the school year, so I'd like to commend him personally. He, all of them, he was like, what can I do? When can I be there? So I was very proud of him. So I'd like to say thank you to the parents for all your help. That's pretty much what they did. They worked very hard for our community. The 8th graders, yep, that's the only class I allow, doing it. It's open to any 8th grader, so it's not something that's like based on grade or behavior. They're on an honor system with me, and they're awesome.
It's 100% on.
Yep, 100%. They're amazing. Do you want to get the trophies out?
Congratulate them all on their graduation also.
Yeah,
Yep.
Congratulations and the best of luck with everything going on here. Fantastic. Great to see. And once you give your certificates, maybe you all just kind of form the lines over there, then we can do a little photo op afterwards. Which would be great. Okay.
Just say Allie.
All right,
Allie
Allie.
A.
Come on, Allie.
Allie A. And if they're not here, obviously, I'm going to take their certificates and get that to them. Sorry. Some of them couldn't be here, they were on
Ashley?
vacation.
That's it?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sweetie. I want you all to stand over there because we're going to get a nice group picture.
Mercedes?
Nope. Mercedes? No, it's not here.
Mike Levito?
Calavito.
Levito?
You're it. A lot of them went right away to vacation, so I don't blame them.
Malik Zawardi?
Malak.
Malak.
Congratulations, thank you. Kimberly Woods?
Oh, sorry, failed. Failed. Trophy failed.
Thank you.
I'm tired, guys, I'm tired.
You okay?
I'm exhausted.
Becky Van Seegers? Jade Vanderween?
Jen, and you went.
Vanderween? And Melissa Ventura.
Danielle W.
Danielle Wallowitz, Danielle Wallowitz.
Sammy Flynn. Chris Greco. Sarah Ganori.
Sarah Ganari. You're striking out.
Nicole Ferretti. Fourier.
Fiore.
Ava Haley. Erica Steenstra.
Thank you.
Casey Stoltz. David Siddle.
Yeah.
Brian Toledo. Caitlin Smith. William Verica. And John Patone.
Junior Rainey. Christian Ferrara. Christian Sacco.
Yeah.
Sean Scott.
Gracious.
Zach Schiffman.
There we
There
go.
he is.
Knock down the trophies. I did before, so we're even.
Oh, yes, you did that. My first one. Okay, Rose Shula.
Gosh,
All right, Leanne Klingman. There you go.
Oh,
Valeria Lopez. Aaron Lyne. Melanie Luque. Laura Miglarino. Geneva Owen. Kelly Sung.
you can give a hug. Yep, please do.
Again, I'd just like to, on behalf of all of us, thank you for what you've done. Good luck in your future, from high school to college, to whatever you guys decide to do. It would be, it's great to see volunteerism from our young people, and thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of us.
Just real quick. And if the council doesn't mind staying behind, we do this our tradition. Come on, guys, we're all the way in. Shorter ones, sorry to say it that way. Smaller ones in the front, let's go. Let's do a real quick, nice picture. Come on, smush in, smush in. And any parents that get a picture, please email it to me, I'd like to get a full page. All the way to get in it too? No, I don't get in it. I don't do that anymore. I'll go back here. Can you get them all?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Please email them to me, thank you. You should be proud of yourself, kids. All right, have funny face. Thank you very much. Thank you, parents, thank you, parents. Thank you. Oh, man, it's like, it's falling apart.
You might want to continue.
I'm getting too old.
Are you honestly leaving your little sister behind, Mel?
Looking at children keeps you young before it wears you out. You know.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Peter?
Take care.
Thank you.
Right into the car, I'll be there first.
Of course, you go right cold to hot, right?
Just for the record, Councilman Yasi arrived at 7:08, and Councilman Conklin is 7:04. Have a motion to go to early public comment, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please step up to the mic, state your name and address for the record. See no one, motion closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Report of committees for professionals. Jane, you have anything?
Not really at this time.
Tracy?
No, I'd like to ask time.
Okay. Rich?
Yes, if you recall, at our last meeting, there was a discussion about the Board of Education referendum, and what was actually included also in the budget. I reached out to Mr. George Hagel and got a clarification on what's being handled where. The capital outlay items for this current, for the upcoming 2013-2014 budget is included some auditing and advertising money for the referendum itself. It included the matching part of a grant that they get generated from Martha B. Day. The locker replacements at Walter T. Bergen. The roof replacement at Walter T. Bergen. Replacement of the gym doors at Martha B. Day and SRD. And the tile floor work at St. The referendum includes lighting upgrades at Walter T., boiler replacements at Martha B. Day and Walter T., barrier-free improvements at Martha B. and Walter T., which is essentially ADA work, refinishing exterior siding at Walter T., security lighting at Martha B. Day and Walter T., renovation of the sign slab at Walter T., and exterior stair repair and masonry work at the Martha B. There was no overlap or transfer between the two. That was always what it was. So I know the big chunk of it, certainly for this upcoming year, is the roof replacement, which is $700,000.
But that's in the other chunk of money.
That's in this year's budget. It is not in the referendum.
Do you have any questions?
And I can forward this on to everyone.
Do you happen to know what the surplus is in the Board of Ed this year?
At the current time, trying to think, I seem to remember, no, I can't tell you on that. I mean, I know because there were several numbers fluctuating, and I don't remember, I think the end of their fiscal year is coming right now. So if I remember, it's probably somewhere around $700,000, depending upon what drawdowns they did for this and that. But like I said, it's the end of their fiscal year. They won't know for sure until their books are out.
So we'll be able to get that once,
Yeah.
in the next report.
Well, no, they're not going to. I mean, just like we don't know what our final surplus numbers are for 6 months. So, I mean, I remember what George Hagel said during the budget presentation meeting, but of course, those are just estimates.
Any other questions? Any other committees out there?
The senior citizens met on this Monday. They have a lot of great activities going. What their goal is, meeting with the mayor and with the county, was to make sure that we can get out there and advertise so many things available for senior citizens. I'm sure most of it is on our website. They really would like to reach out to more people to use the facilities, especially Bloomingdale people, because every meeting, we have a lot of people, 40 people for lunch every day, but very few people from our town. and they want to reach out and have more people come, more people join the activities. They're sponsoring a trip to Alaska next May. Seems to be very reasonable if you're interested in that. We discussed the cleaning that was being done by the maintenance committee, and so far it seems the only glitch that they've told the mayor about is the timing that they're there isn't good because they have it's a full activity and they're trying to clean around it. So I think they'll probably work that out. I think that we had a resignation and there are 2 people that were recommended to the mayor to take the resignations. We can't make that tonight because I don't think we have the letter of resignation yet, but when we do, we would have new people and encourage people to get involved in our senior. I think they only have to be 50 for some of the programs, so it's not really, but they do a lot. In fact, the county was very gracious in their praise because of all of their nutrition sites. Ours has they'd like to model others after it. We're also looking into getting a van from the county so that the people who are bused here for nutrition don't have to leave when that county bus leaves at 1 o'clock. They can actually stay for the exercise or the other portions of the program. So it was a very good meeting, and they seem to be a really active group. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Rec did not meet last night, but they are going to discuss at their next meeting the possibility of combining public events and recreation into one category. And then fireworks this Friday night. And also the library, I don't know if Mark's going to talk about it there, the remodel was done, and they're looking for business.
I'm really happy to hear that they're considering combining the 2 because I know we had discussed getting some kind of input on the donations for the fireworks, which I guess kind of went back and forth between public events and recreation. But anyway, we never did finalize any conclusion on that, but since the fireworks are here Friday, I guess, we won't do it, but I think it's a great thing to combine them to do it.
Under public safety, just July 12th, the fire department will be playing the police department in a softball game at the multi-team burger school, which should be fairly interesting for the fire department. Should be a lot of fun. The other thing that's going on with public safety, the fire department and the police department are joining efforts to do a 5K run/walk the day of Pride Day to raise money for pancreatic cancer. The reason we're going in this direction is this all came about. One of our members is fighting that disease as we speak today. He's been a long-time member of the community. He's been a volunteer for almost 25 years in the fire department. His name is Bob Kochka. Okay, so we are trying to raise money in his name and donate it to the Lustgarten Foundation. So if anybody's interested, there will be a website advertisement, putting posters out, there'll be banners. So we're hoping it's a great event. We're looking for donations, sponsorship, as much money as we can raise and donate it in Bob's name to the Lustgarten Foundation. So if you're interested, go to the fire department website and you're going to start seeing posters around town. You can register online. It's $25 to run for early sign up. That gives you a t-shirt. It's an official race. We hired a time company, so people are into really running. It'll be time if you just want to come out and go for a 3.1 mile walk. It will start at the Burger School. It will kick off. The race itself will start at 11 a.m. and finish at the Leisure Field when Pride Day starts. So we're hoping it's a great event. There will be early registration the night before and the day of. So more to come on that. So please spread the word. We are trying to make this a great event. And it'll be our first 5K run in the town. And Chief Burrell and his crew and Chief Hudson are working together along with our committee to make this a big event in Bob's name. Okay. That's pretty much all I have. Okay. Approval of consent agenda. Approval of the minutes for regular meeting for May 28th. Do I have that motion?
So moved. Second.
Aye.
Okay. Application for the Bloomingdale Fire Department from James R. Gillespie. He's becoming a new member. Do I have a motion to approve James? The fire department.
So moved. Chairman, you approved the consent agenda. That was all talk
Okay. Okay. Yes, let's amend it to include A, B, and C. Let's go. We're good? Okay. Pending business. Adoption of resolution 2013-6.9, authorizing the hiring of the new police officer Daniel Greenwood, effective July 1st, 2013. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Councilmembers Conklin.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Short. Yes. Sondemire.
Yes.
Yost.
Yes.
Adoption of resolution 2013-6.10, authorizing the hiring of a new police officer, Vincent Graziosi, that's how you say it, effective July 23rd, 2013. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion?
Just, I guess, an explanation that we have retiring officers coming up, and it's going to impact our, call it our revenues from the department. Okay, so the ticket revenue, for example. And by hiring these folks, putting them in place now, we'll be able to keep that steady and not lose any momentum in that area. As well as next year, there is a plan for another officer.
It'll just make it a smooth transition.
This will make it absolutely right. So that there's going to be 2 retiring over the next year and a half.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anticipated, yeah.
Have you met them at all?
I have not met them, no.
Just give you-
Okay. They are from this year's, or this past class, and they are from the alternate route program. Joey is part of that, this PT, he's part of that class, so he knows these guys firsthand, so these were his choices. So we went by recommendations of the chief, and we're moving on that, so we don't skip a beat. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Councilmembers Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Short. Yes. Sondemire.
Yes.
Yost.
Yes.
Conklin.
Okay. Second and final reading of public hearing ordinance 24-213, road opening permit fees. Our permit fees in the past were seemingly low, we're increasing those permit fees. That's it. Public service, somebody comes and digs holes in the road, we get just a little bit more in permit fees. All right, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, Council President, this ordinance was posted in this building, published in the Herald News, copies available to the public, so the motion may be that it be read by title.
Do we have a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale by amending Chapter 20, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 2, Streets, Chapter 20-11, Street Openings and Excavations, Section 20-11.5, Fees required to require that utility companies pay a fee of $200 for street excavations and openings on borough streets.
All right. We open a public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this subject, please come forward, state your name, and
Need to make a motion, John.
Make a motion.
Make a motion, open up public hearing.
second.
Second.
We open public hearing. Okay. Anybody wishing to speak on this behalf, please state your name and your address. Conflict of interest. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion for adoption.
Just one question. last time that the county had their own fees, which were comparable to what we were moving to.
It says borough streets, street excavations and openings on borough streets. Well, the title says borough streets, so I'm assuming that. I can clarify it, it is borough streets.
Motion, any motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Councilmembers Delarose.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yasti.
Yes.
Conklin.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes. Moving right along, introduction of new business. Adoption of resolution 2013-6. Payment of the bills. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
I have discussion on it. I'm not going to vote yes on this, and I'll tell you the reason. I said this before, and I know up until this year, I didn't know we ever did this before, but I do not think that borough taxpayer dollars should be paid for food for meetings. And as nice as it is, in my former job, in schools, we were told from the Board of Education that the Board of Education would not be supplying food for Teacher Appreciation Day, or they were not going to spend any taxpayer money on any food. And I feel that we should be doing the same. I don't think it's been done before, but this is the second time that it was done this year. And that's the only reason I'm going to vote no on the payment of the bills. But my other problem, I don't know if this goes along with bills, but last meeting we had a discussion about the Rose Fund and how the open space money was being used. And this month I see that the payment of interest for the Walter T. Perkins School lights was also taken out of the open space money, and I would like maybe the Government Ops Committee to follow up on that when the 2013 budget replenishes the Rose Fund. I don't think it's an appropriate use of that money. That's all I have.
But you requested that, right?
Not out of the
But we
open
were voting
space.
on the budget. You brought up the fact that the budget included interest for the lights being in the budget, and you said that should come out of open space.
No,
out of
Rose Fund, Rose Fund.
Okay, that includes the open space
The
portion
Rose
of
Fund,
it,
as you know from my correspondence to you, has 4 sections to it.
right?
And no governing body in 10 years has ever used the open space money as we have for cutting grass, for tri-state, etc. And I'll meet with that committee, and I know they've met and discussed it. But if I said Rose Fund, I believe that the referendum, it would be, all the light expenses would be paid for the Rose Fund. My problem is I don't think open space is the appropriate section of the Rose Fund to take it out.
Going by past history, we talked about this. Back in 2011, the Rose Fund money was taken there just to balance the budget. Which is a fact. That money was never put back in the sum of $82,000.
That was taken out of open space or the Rose Fund?
I don't know exactly what portion of it.
The FEMA money was used for that. We didn't use the rose to balance the budget. The 82,000 that the auditor recommended to us last year
That was for DPW salaries.
for the DPW work that we did last year. That's came out of the rose fund. I guess I see where you're going. You're saying we're not saying which one of the 4 quadrants it should come out of, right? And we don't have an interest section, right, to say, take it out of the interest portion.
You do have an interest,
Unless we
and that's
come
what's
out
spent.
as a governing body and we say, this is what we want it taken out of, we're kind of leaving it up to our treasurer to make that decision. I guess maybe that's what you're complaining about, right? You're saying, hey, why is it coming out of the open space portion? Because, you could make the same complaint if you came out of recreation, saying, why is it coming out of the recreation portion?
It seems perfect to come out of discretionary.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that is a wasn't my decision. I think that decision should be made by the entire council. But this is my other question that I want to ask. When we voted on this in 2001, this is what the statement we voted on said. The Rose Fund will be financed through a collection of municipal tax that will be solely dedicated to financing open space preservation and recreation facility development. And when that was created, and as you know, as a member of the advisory committee to the Rose Fund, that advisory committee looks at projects and things that should be done, and they make recommendations on where the money should be spent, and the council either takes that recommendation or has their own justification for the way they vote. But I want someone to tell me, where is this money that is dedicated to financing open space preservation? Not cutting the grass. We've never done this until...
No, read the whole thing. It's open space preservation, what else?
And recreational facility development.
And what else?
Maintenance and improvement.
It says to finance maintenance,
So all of
improvement, and
this.
expansion of public recreational facilities within the borough.
It's all of
That's
this.
from the ordinance.
Right. My question then out of that is, which part of the Rose Fund is dedicated to open space preservation? Or, as you can tell by looking at the audit trail, any part of that money is taken out of any section of the Rose Fund. I mean, that's in black and white here.
But as a governing body, we get to decide.
Just
what
tell me
goes in there.
which is the open space preservation part. And you
There
can
is the
tell
open
that for
space.
10 years, it doesn't matter which political party, that money, I have the audit trails going back to 2003. It was spent on some surveying, very little was spent out of open space. It was almost to $300,000. And I do believe recently the interest from this was also spent. And the only account that gets interest is open space. So even the interest is being used, which I guess that's the decision of the council. I just don't think that when I voted on this, I thought the way the councils did for 10 years, that there would be recreation and recreation maintenance and discretionary for things such as probably the lighting note. But then there was a section, and I think what the advisory committee and the majority of the council believed was we didn't need to put 25% in anymore. Let's cut down on the open space. But I think that we have diminished the integrity of the open space money by using it to cut grass, cut lawns.
That's maintenance.
That's maintenance.
It's got to be done.
But it's not open space preservation. And this doesn't say open space maintenance. It says open space preservation and recreational, etc. And are you looking at the referendum, or
No,
you're
I'm looking
looking
at the
at? Okay, and we had the same question last week when I spoke to Fred. He said it's not the ordinance that rules, it's the referendum. That's why we're taking the money out of open space for the interest on the bond note.
So when we do this, so we're going to go back. and forth.
I've talked to Fred, and he said that he would look into it again and tell
So
us.
Fred will get us an answer.
Yes.
And maybe what we should do is we should meet with the Rose Fund Committee and hammer this out. So they're the ones who make the recommendations, we're the ones who go back and say, yeah, you may, right?
They're just an advisory. I think it's
Correct.
the legislative body with the input from our attorney who has to tell us. Then if the body, if he tells us, I really don't see why we have four parts anymore to it, paying everything from whatever, as we're told, where the money is, that's where it comes out of. And I still want the question answered, where is the money for open space preservation? Even if you, at this point, don't think there's anything out there to preserve, it's been my experience that occasionally something pops up and you say, oh my gosh, well, why don't, that would be great to buy for open space. But,
Linda, at the end of last year, we had approximately $250,000 sitting in roads. Okay, all four golf roads added together, so it's $250,000. We have the ability to put it in any one of those, or do it for, to purchase open space, to spend it on recreation. We as the governing body have the ability to What
what
I'm
you're saying.
missing out of all of the statements you made is, what do you want to do with that money? Do you have plans for it?
You know, it's like running your own budget at home. You're saving up for a new refrigerator or a new car, but then there has to be some money just to have that savings. And when I see a lot of money in open space, I see people want to just spend it. I think we need an open space preservation account. Every council has honored that until now. Now we're cutting grass and paying DPW workers out of open space. And if
But
that's,
you do realize, Tom, you do realize that $82,000 that we took out of roads, okay? Again, let's not take on any quadrant. It meant that we didn't have to charge the taxpayers for that, right? You do realize that when we paid for the storm,
they're already paying it. They've
for the
already
storm
increased
out
their
of the
roads fund.
roads, we didn't have to come out and do an emergency debt and then have to pay it this year, right? And raise taxes. You do understand all of this, right?
I
Because your
understand.
recommendation to keep it and let it grow means more taxes for all of us. That's what it means. I don't know if you are
I
seeing that.
think that we raised the Rose Fund tax simply by our reassessment. So we are paying more Rose Fund tax. But if there is a referendum, like the Rose Fund, like the lighting, you have to be true to what the voters passed.
So you
And I
would then
believe
not
I
use it
passed
for-
it for at least part of it to go for open space preservation. That's what the vote was.
So you feel preserving is more important than
No, absolutely
tax
not.
stabilization?
I think the Rose Fund is what it is, and it always has been, and I don't think it's, the people voted the amount of money, and I think they understood the impact on their taxes, even when it was increased last year when we did the referendum. People wanted it, and I don't think you can compare it to increasing or decreasing the budget, and until our auditor last year told us we could take it out of Rose Fund, it never was done. But I think that instead of having this discussion now, I think we need to have.
Why don't we wait and see
do it.
what-
Exactly. Let him
comes back
tell
from
us
Fred,
about,
tell us.
I've asked him to look into the referendum question and to give us his advice, and I'll ask the question again and again. If we voted for open space preservation, I want to know what that money is and where it is and what it can be spent. That's all. I'll wait for
Wait
Fred's
for an opinion
opinion.
from Fred.
Exactly.
Back to the bills. Who made the motion?
Roll call.
Councilmember Short,
No.
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Conklin.
No.
Tomato,
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
While we're still on the payment of bills, I would like to make a motion after, I know that John and Mark weren't at the ethics workshop on the 15th of June. It was a Saturday from 8 to 11, and I think most of us felt we'd much rather be home on Saturday mornings. It was 3 hours that flew by, and we got tons of wonderful, excellent information from the league attorney, the New Jersey League municipalities. And one of the questions I asked is, can we have our bills payment online? And he said, absolutely. When you put your agenda online, the bills payment can go. And given that, I make a motion that we put our bills online when we put our agenda online. That's my motion.
The biggest problem with putting them online, for a thick document like this we put on, it's not going to, when you upload it, never mind that we do it, it's not going to be clear enough when you're uploading these documents to that file. So we talked to the guy from, Bill Benson from CityNet. When you upload this type of document on there, it's not going to be clear. And the other thing is, I don't think there's a lot of people who understand the way it comes out. So his recommendation is not going to be fair for the public to actually physically read it. I'm not against it.
Why is that?
So, when you scan a document,
Well, I guess I can understand if that's Bill's recommendation, but I'm sure other towns are doing it. And if we all know about Fred Weinberg's,
the only one's doing it locally is that we know of is Riverton. There's 4
Well, I think the issue may be more,
I don't know.
well, Sherry's using Edmunds,
Yes.
right, to generate the
Yeah.
bills list,
Right.
and there's no way apparently to electronically transfer it to anything. The only option apparently she has in that software is to print it out, at which point you then have to take it, scan it into a digital format, and then upload it to the webpage. That's what I mean by it not being clear. It's an actual physical clarity of the font. Because, you know, this is, but the issue is, I'm sure other towns who upload it may be using different software that has better digital transfer capabilities. And certainly we could continue to look to see if there's some way to make Edmunds, whatever Edmunds is spinning out, you know, more web-friendly. Right now, what we've got is in between what Sherry's telling us Edmunds is capable of, and what Bill's telling us would look good on the website. And I have to admit that taking a printed document and scanning it doesn't make for a very pretty viewing on the web. I mean, we could put it there, but it's going to cause a lot of eye strain if nothing else.
I think if somebody really came in and wanted to request a copy of the bills, I don't think we would have a problem giving it to them. If they came here when we get it and want to review it, I don't think there'd be a problem with that at all.
That's usually a Friday before the second meeting of the month, the last meeting of the month, we
Correct.
get the bills list. I was going to suggest that if anybody, if we can get the word out, if anybody is interested in the bills list, they can come up to the office and ask for a copy of it before. Because as we know from the workshop we attended, transparency, I mean, 3 years ago when I sat in the audience, I almost got the impression that some members of the council felt that the web and computers were, nobody was going to go on a website and look. And 3 years later, and according to our league and to our political forces, everything should be transparent. We were told that over and over, everything. There are very few things that shouldn't be, and the more we get out there, the more transparency we have, the less problem we'll ever have with Oprah requests, because they can go right to the web and find anything they want, and it's moving very quickly. So I don't know what committee or who can follow through on this, but I think they should follow up and see how we can get the most information on our website, and especially our bills list, because when people come before we vote to pay this, they deserve to see what we're paying and have questions about it also. I think everything should be out there. We know there are a few things, litigation, employee things, that can't be public, but everything is there, every email, everything is operable, everything is out there, and I believe as it should be. And perhaps this week, a bill in our state will be passed, for better or for worse, which is even stricter on open meetings. 2 or more people elected will become a reportable committee. But that's to be seen if that passes or not.
I agree with the
Certainly our
being
rules.
very open to the public on the bills list, and I keep hearing that it's going to be cloudy to view. Have we ever tried it? Have we done it, scanned it, put it out there and see how it looks?
Not on the bills list,
I
but
put
on the
hundreds of pages of spills together and scan them on a HP scanner, send them to a laptop, and no one's ever complained about it. So I don't know why this would be a problem.
I'm not sure.
Pictures and everything else.
That's
Cut
I'm
sheets.
just saying, just try it and see.
Yeah, try it.
Try one and see what it looks like, if it's an issue.
I have to look at, I don't know the upload process with our website, but we can try it. And, you know, if things are crooked and half the pages might be or might not be.
The agenda comes up. I think that.
But I would do that.
That's not
I've done it.
Yeah, it's Cherokee.
That's-
And I know that
Construction
That's
department,
fine.
I don't know if you ever try to read that, just the wrong.
5 pages.
What we can do is maybe I can sit with Jane on the Monday and we can try it and see what it looks like. And then we'll go from there.
Is the admin software supported by SmartTech or is Sherry?
I think that's,
Yeah, I mean,
You have to physically print it like this.
I know,
Scan
but
it.
it's possible, you know, given the investments we make in our computer technology, that there's several versions behind on this, and it's possible newer versions have better capabilities. I don't know.
Let's try it, see what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate that, thank you.
So I'll second that motion.
Do you need a motion or just want
Well,
to try it?
I think I'll wait till next meeting. Thank you for seconding it, but I think the discussion,
No, we can try it, but, I mean, the
do
motion
we
was
need a
to...
motion?
I'll try it.
I did ask today if we had put it on the web, and I was told, well, the council didn't vote to do it. So do we need to vote to do it in order to try it?
We try it and not put it out. You don't have to put it out, you can try it so we can see it.
Well, if I'm understanding correctly, you just want to try it and maybe let the council see what it looks like, and then unless you have an idea what it looks like, you can make a motion for next meeting.
What if I change my motion to say that we have a trial period for uploading the bills on the website and continue to investigate if it doesn't work well, if it isn't clear enough? What if I change the motion to that? Just a trial. A motion for a trial period to put the bills on the website for the public to view, to see if the quality works, and if not, we continue to investigate how to do it. We'll decide if it works or not.
So we're gonna do it on a trial basis.
Yes.
We'll do it Monday, if it don't work, take it.
Okay.
Those things.
Okay, just one minute.
Well, I want to see it, I'll be able to see it.
Okay, I hope I get there quick enough to see it
No,
before
I'll
you
tell
take
you,
it.
I'll tell you, we'll leave it there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'd like to try it. And I'd like to definitely investigate doing it a different way if that doesn't work.
We're just gonna try this, we're
Take the
trial run to
June-
put these on the
Take
website, so
take
anybody
the
can
June
read.
bills and post them and see
All
what
right,
it's
so we
like.
define trial period then? I mean, that.
I actually personally, I don't agree with putting that it's 30 pages for someone to print out there and go through. Every meeting will be inundated by questions on what is this $1,000 trip down to Atlantic City for the seniors? And you have to then explain, well, you know what, seniors coming, they pay their way, we collect the money, and then we pay for the trip. What is this $1,200 for equipment for a basketball program, right? Then you have to sit there and explain, in every meeting, there's going to be people that don't understand what goes through this office. There's about $28 million that we collect and we hand out every year, and it comes in some in pennies, some in thousands.
We're
Having
gonna be,
to-
pretty soon, we're gonna be dictated to do it anyway, so.
Well, let's get there. And let's figure out a better way
I
of
think it would be,
taking out all the things that are associated with a trust fund out of this. Only post the ones that are for running the town in there. Why would
right,
recreation
it's a
trust
simple
fund be in there?
explanation. If somebody stands up, you say, if you see a T, it's a trust fund. I give the public some credit. Yes, there could be questions. There may be a
Linda,
lot of
didn't you
people.
just at the last meeting say to yourself that for 3 years you sat here, you didn't understand when you were voting on X, Y, and Z, where it was going, and now you're realizing, right?
It's a-
People are going to go through the same learning experience
Well,
as
let them,
you
that's
are.
what it's all about. It's a learning experience for the public. And the public has the right to know. And if they go upstairs and get the hard copy from the office and stand there and ask questions, that's what's going to
All
happen.
right, can we do this?
Let us do that.
First of all, we don't know if it's even gonna work. So before we go into motions and doing all that stuff, can I just put it up there so it's gonna be clear? We might be avoiding everything if it doesn't work.
Right, and tell me what will happen if it doesn't work.
Then we should print it, if somebody wants, we can print it.
Okay, and how will we, who and how will we investigate to see how we can improve it?
Approve what? Getting the,
Another program that can do it, scanning it, putting it up in a different way so it can be read.
well, first, let's just take the first step first, to see if it's gonna be clear. We might not have to go to that side. We might, and then the other thing is, there's a service request on the website, so if anybody has any questions ahead of time, you can go to that service request section on the website and question what that you're questioning. And then we can have an answer before the meeting. We can do that for potholes, we can do it for anything in the town that you see that you don't like and you have a question on, you can go right to the website, fill out that online little survey thing, it goes to that department, and a question will come back to you with an answer.
It's good
No?
to know, too.
All right, that's
All
all
learning
on our
experience.
website.
The mayor is in the process of into computers,
Right.
newer software. So I know, I don't have the capability of downloading certain PDFs, which knows, I don't understand what the problem is, but certain things I can't download, so it's through the software. So maybe that'll be something new.
So we're going into the electronic world now, so now we got, for us, it's small steps to make sure
And
we
that's
get
the
that,
other,
so it
that's the
works.
other point, is that most of the computers up there are running very
Very slow. It'll be
everything.
very hard for this to
So,
be.
you know, we approved last time the purchase of new PCs. The new PCs are going to have new OSs, new office software. It's possible that even if it winds up being illegible this time, that we'll have better opportunity when there's a tech refresh. So,
Well, I appreciate that, but
Right, I know.
I don't want it to just be.
No, I don't- I
I'd
think
like
we
us
need
to
to-
be
we keep
working
an eye on
toward
it,
that
yeah.
I'll
goal.
tell you, we're gonna add it right to the agenda for this
Okay.
next there as,
Well,
all
I appreciate
we
it,
have
thank
pending
you.
item.
right? Pending that. Okay. So you want to be the roll for it? Okay. All right, you good?
Good.
Okay. I'd like to move B and C together, adoption resolution 2013-12 and 13, tax liens, number 11-00020 and number 12-00022. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Conklin.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Adoption resolution 2000, what did I say, 16? Is that the end of it? It should be 13, right?
13-6.14.
2013-6.14, approval of alcoholic beverages, license for 2013-2014, effective July 1st, 2013. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
So moved.
I'll second
Somebody
that.
move.
Yeah, Rick moved it, you second.
And just for your information, these are the licenses that are in order to be received. There are a few that will come in the next meeting, but they're not ready. And there are no objections from any departments.
You still need a second.
Thanks.
Take the Rick. Roll call?
Councilmembers Conklin.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Introduction of ordinance number 25-2013, overnight parking. This is
Mr. Tracy.
All right, introduction of this ordinance number 25, 2013, overnight parking. Um, This is the chief's parking permit. What's happening is we're trying to come up with a permit process for the overnight parking in the difficult areas, like say, Grafton Road on the hill. So if the weather is not, it's like it is sunny out or whatever, people can park on the street. They have to move their cars to their property under inclement weather. So there's a permit fee to allow that. All right, so we're trying to help people out. Some people buy cars, they still like to park on the street, but when inclement weather comes, they're still going to have to move them. So we're giving them an opportunity. So it's okay from November to April, where we all have to be off the streets, that if anybody wants to apply for a permit to keep their cars in the streets. I have 6 cars in my driveway. It's very difficult. I have a big driveway. So this would probably adopt to me and a few other people in town. So we're just trying to accommodate those people by assessing a permit fee, and we'll know on record who they are and who they are not. All right, and then when the inclement weather comes, a reverse 911 will come out to these people, but you have to get your car off the road. So the chief came up with a process that other towns are doing, so we want to charge a parking permit fee for that, for the residents. So I have a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I think I feel about this ordinance the way Ray felt about looking into all the negative things about putting bills online. This could happen, that could happen. This could be a nightmare, with people, we have a sudden storm and they're Carr Street, you know, there's just, I don't know. But I do know that if it doesn't work, I guess we rescind the ordinance.
Well, if it don't work, I think we sat with Joey, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah, we sat with Joey, went through the whole process with him. And knowing Joey the way he is, he's not gonna, the first time say, hey, I'm gonna write you, you know. He's gonna give people opportunity. With the reverse 911, the word will get out that it's coming, and please get your car off the road. I don't think we're just going around and start, you know, we're giving people an opportunity to be able to keep
I'm
their cars.
thinking more of the snow plowing people who have
Oh,
to
that part of it?
deal with the people
Who don't?
who go away, or I don't know. I think it could be a disaster, but I think he's investigated it as far as other towns go.
He has, he's looked into.
I guess it works, so.
And I know of two-family homes that have a single driveway, and it's very difficult for them to share that drive because who parks in the front, who parks in the back. In the mornings, they gotta get up and move their cars if they both want to park there. In the winter months, it's hard. This is really going to help them out by being allowed to park on the street.
As long as they know when they have to move it, they have to have a place to move it to, you know?
Well, if it's snowing, then they have to deal with that, who parks first, who doesn't, right? But if it's not, they get to park on the street.
It'll be,
All along the way. So it's definitely going to help some people.
And John, you're still allowed to, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a guest that's staying overnight, they can still call the police
Yes,
officer, still have a guest.
you have people staying in their house, you don't have, they can still call in and say, I have people over, I have a car in the street, my car broke down, I can't move it. That also will be in place, so that's, you don't get a permit for that.
Mr. President, this is just the introduction, maybe we're
Correct.
all feeling comfortable, maybe Chief Burrell can come and talk to us, or we could talk to him about any questions.
I trust this
We,
presenting it.
Mike and I sat with him
understand
for
it.
quite a
I just-
while.
Well, I mean,
Yes, we'll try.
obviously, so, you know, it's gonna be a month or so, you know, if something comes up, you know, we can all reach out to him, come out and speak to him,
We'll definitely show.
you know.
Councilmembers Demotta,
Yes.
Del Rippe,
Yes.
Short,
Yes.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yasti,
Yes.
Conklin.
Yes.
And that will be for July 23rd at 7:30, and that will be an ordinance instituting overnight parking permits.
Item F, adoption of resolution 2013-6-15, recycling time grant. We do this every year. All right, this is about our recycling program. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Oh, any discussion before we move on?
The only thing that still bothers me is, maybe this isn't part of this, but in our budget, we are anticipating only $6,000 in recycling, when last year we got 10. Do you know?
This is going to bring you back up to
Okay,
the numbers,
all right.
which is good. It's an in and out, it's correct, so you have to spend to get it.
Roll call.
Councilmembers Del Rippe,
Yes.
Short,
Yes.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yasti,
Yes.
Conklin,
Yes.
Demotta.
Yes. Okay. Moving on, late public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody wish to speak on late public comment, please come up, state your name, your address, for the record.
Yes.
All day.
Al Miller, 7 Mary Street, Bloomingdale. Just a couple quick ones tonight. I guess it was about 2 or 3 meetings ago, I brought up the question, especially with the mayor and the council on transparency. Ray, you and I talked about it. I do agree with Linda that transparency is key, and probably about 2 or 3 meetings ago, we had a discussion on it. And John, I'm assuming that, you know, you're trying to put the bills pay on the website, because I asked you to do that 2 or 3 meetings ago, which I appreciate the follow. I'm not sure if Linda brought it up, but I know I did a couple of meetings back. My question is, why don't we get a copy of the bills list? How do I get a copy?
Roll. You can email.
Fill out the email us, and when it's over, just ask for a copy.
Just send it to who? Email?
On the website,
Okay, is that the email request for information, or?
just be specific, say this is a normal request for a copy of such and such bill
Okay.
list.
That's all I have to do? Okay. I
Do you have to
appreciate
do that every
seeing the
time
charge
there's
that
a
way. I
business?
agree that,
You have to
you
do it
know,
every
Riverdale
time.
does have it. I don't know what Riverdale uses, but it's pretty simple. I mean, they have it set up pretty well, pretty quick to go through.
I'm going to look at that. I I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. The other thing, Ray, I think it's important that, yeah, there may be a learning curve for some of the people in the public as far as learning some of the terms and understanding some of the issues of the bill list, but I don't think the bill list is something that should be edited before it's put out to the public.
No. You gotta see the current form to understand.
No, I
what
have
I'm
it,
talking
and I'm sure I'm gonna be, one of the guys are gonna be here asking you
Once
questions.
you see it, then you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so I'm just saying, I do, I appreciate your patience, but I do think it's something that shouldn't be edited. I think it's, you know what?
No, I'm not
Everybody
saying
takes the
edited.
names.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it should be edited. There are things on there that has nothing, and actually I have a question for the attorney, which I'm gonna discuss it with them afterwards, but there are things in there that probably is not even operable. I don't believe this current format is gonna be, correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's a settlement on there are things on there that may not be operable. Can that be just, well, we need to really talk it through.
You
There
mean
are
the names
things on
of
there.
employees who are getting Medicare repayments and things?
I don't know.
I think we really need to make sure.
We really need to cross all the Ts and dot all the Is before we just put it up.
What Ray's saying is that Oprah, so obviously it's meant for transparency, but there are exceptions to Oprah. For example, there's like a pending police investigation or social security numbers. There are things that might be redacted, so they're saying there's a concern that we have to review the bills to see where it should be.
I got that.
That's fine. I mean, I just, please, I just want to raise the point, I appreciate it. I did bring it up 2 or 3 meetings ago, and apparently, I don't know if something that Linda queued it off, or you just followed up on it, but I did ask, and I appreciate it.
It was the workshop we went to.
Okay. But no, I mean, I brought it up a couple of meetings ago, and I just appreciate it. The other question I got is, they were hiring 2 police officers, they're replacing, like you said. Where does the town stand overall as far as headcount? I mean, are we at headcount now? Are we planning on hiring any more people? Are we stable, or?
We're right where we need to be with those 2 lines.
So the number you guys got now is the number that you maintain again? Correct.
Correct.
That was it. Thank you.
If I could follow up on the bills list, I just remembered some software that might help we can install on our shared machine. I don't know what version of Windows she's running, whether she's still running XP or something like that, but I just thought of something other than somebody having to take it and throw it in a scanner.
The main thing is though, we have to make sure with Fred, certain things.
Yes, I mean, once we figure that point out, I'm obviously just talking from a technical standpoint, that, the clarity issue might be solved.
Rich, you might want to just check Riverdale. They have a pretty simple form.
Right, that's what we gotta
Yeah,
figure
just
out.
take a quick
It's 4
check.
pages for them, 30-some pages for us. There's definitely
Well,
a simplified version.
right, it could be the format, could be the information you're putting in. I mean, I'm not saying you should spend hours on hours editing it, but I do think it should be available.
Well, it could be that they were told that they're allowed to put it, and we have to figure that out.
Yes.
Right, my concern, having not seen it,
Yeah.
I'll admit that, is if they're running a different software,
It could be.
then their format might be more amenable to the web than ours or something, I don't know.
Look, my point is that
Yes, it should be out there in some
it should
form.
be there. If I want to copy it, I can get a copy, people copy the website. That's all I need.
But Al, for your comfort, every time I look at it, it pisses me off. Okay, and we have to pay it, we
We know how
gotta.
we-
I understand.
It's-
I just, you know what, Brad, looking for a little history, that's all. I mean, you know what, it's been a lot of time to budget, just trying to get up to speed.
All right, anyone else?
Nice to see them. Tom Tracy, 150 Rapid Road. I have a question, a very simple one, nothing financial. About the Pride Day, 5K run. Myself being close to being a cancer survivor, I'm definitely going to run in this race. How do I really, this is the first I've heard of it, who do I contact to be, to help? To help,
Myself. It's myself, our committee,
yeah, that's what I
so
meant.
you can contact me through the borough email. I can give my cell phone number. Any help would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I really want to help. I definitely want to run it, and anything that I can do to help.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Seeing no one, the motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next meeting will be July 23rd, 7 PM. Take place.
That's much better.
There's only one meeting in July and one in August.
We have a special election.
13th. Motion to adjourn? We have no time to elect the executive session today. Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wow. You did it.
Good job.